recording. Hi, everyone. My name is Christian Coley. I'm with the executive search team at Bullhorn, and I'm lucky to have Tim Dunn here, Chief Commercial Officer at N2 Growth. Thanks for joining me, Tim.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, Christian.
Sure thing. They're crazy times. You know, I got to know you several months ago, and we've kept in touch. You know, here at Bullhorn, we're trying to stay in touch with our customers, and a lot of people are now working from home, working in remote environments, which is bringing up their own challenges. And I immediately thought of you because I remembered you were working from home. A lot of your team was working from home, and you're also managing a team from home, within the
Yes.
executive search industry. So I thought you'd be a great person to talk to. I just have a few questions.
Sure.
First, starting with, just what are some routines and some tips and tricks for working from home and maintaining that productivity for you?
Yeah. So, I would say about pre-COVID-19 outbreak, about 90% of my time was spent in my home office. As you mentioned, we are pretty much 100% remote. We have, 50 offices globally. But most of those are, if I go down to the headquarters in Philadelphia, it'll just be to collaborate with some team members or something like that. We're rarely doing the bulk of our day-to-day work in any place other than our homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we rely on things like the Zoom platform, and we've actually transitioned. We've used a couple different providers in the past, and we've actually just transferred to Zoom. I have 3 kids at home, and so most of the time they're in school or doing something in the summertime camps and stuff like that. So I limit the distractions between the primary working hours, but that isn't 100%. Sometimes they get in the way. There's some distractions here or there. But I would just say, find an isolated spot if you don't have a home office, where you can kind of close the door and focus. It's really important. But just expect that there are going to be distractions like there are in the office. I mean, there's it's not like they don't exist, in a working environment like an office building or something like that as well. So I find that keeping a list too, of very clear to do, keep your direction. It's easy to get up and see a basket of laundry that needs to be folded, for instance, and you start doing that, and next thing you know, you've just wasted 45 minutes or whatever. But there's also some advantages, like you don't have this tons of windshield time traveling to and from a physical location. So if you manage your time wisely, it can actually be a really optimal way to work and get things done. So that would just be my general high level tips on just kind of things to think about. One thing that we do a lot of, as you do, a lot of calls during the day, and a lot of them are on a Zoom platform. And so, some of the interesting things that, some of my folks are doing, they have lights on the outside of their, doors. So like they can flip a switch, and everybody on the outside of the office knows, okay, that, there's something going on in there. We can't be loud and distracted.
That's a good idea. I haven't even heard of that one. It's
like kind of like the radio, like on air light, So I was like, wow, that's a good idea. I should do that. I don't know if they would listen, my kids, but it seems to work out for Kevin, who does that. But there's also, and I when I do Zoom meetings with clients, usually 9 times out of 10 they're showing up to the meeting on a phone, so they don't have the screen pulled up. But every once in a while you get surprised and they're ready to do a video chat. So I always keep a collared shirt next to my desk, just in case I'm in my t-shirt and I want to present halfway decent. Luckily you only catch from the chest up. So that's another tip that I've run into that situation. Actually pretty funny scenario where I made the mistake. The reason I do that is because I made the mistake before, and showed up. The client was on the video chat, and we were on the phone, and one of my sales consultants and myself were sitting there in like t-shirts, and it was kind of like a later call, so it was in the evening hours, and
Hmm.
our client shows up to the call, and he's on a Zoom meeting, and we were flustered. We're like, oh my gosh, like, we got to go get a collared shirt on or whatever. We're in t-shirts, we can't be doing a sales call. And then this guy pulls up the virtual background of him on a beach. So it ended up being a pretty fun experience. I mean, he was super relaxed, and we ended up doing the sales call in t-shirts, but
Oh, wow.
it was a great way to kind of break the ice. So maybe you want to show up in a t-shirt. I don't know what the moral of that story is, but that is why I now keep a collared shirt next to my desk now. So
Yeah, it's just about being prepared, right? And
that's right.
in the sales world, like knowing your audience, who's on the other line, and I guess just being prepared for all those situations.
Correct.
Which kind of leads me to my next question is also you're managing a remote team as well, and your people are all over. What are some good things that you do to keep that engagement high and the morale high? I know we talked about even beforehand, like you're hosting happy hours. You've done that for a long time. Like, what
Yep.
are those some things you're doing? What else do you?
Yeah. So, I started my leadership career in the military, which is, I was a platoon leader in a, combat environment, and very hands-on. You're living, you're with these individuals that you're leading, and everything's, face to face.
Hmm.
And then if you transition that all the way to the environment at N2 Growth, everything's virtual. So what I try to do is just maintain traditions. So as far as things that we would be doing in an office, we're doing virtually. So happy hours,
Yeah.
things like that, where it seems a little bit corny at first, but
Yeah.
if you start doing it routinely and it becomes kind of commonplace, it is really good at developing a culture. Talking to folks face to face just about things outside of work are super helpful in developing team bonds. I ask about my folks' kids, their home situations, that sort of thing. One thing that I've found as a leader in the military primarily is people will follow you if they know you care about them, right? And so you can show that you care about somebody in a virtual environment. That's not impossible, but it takes like a conscious effort for that,
Right.
right? And you can't allow people to kind of go into their little holes and be isolated from the world and keep their cameras off. I like to and this is kind of N2 Growth wide rule, is that anytime we're on a video chat with a team, which is multiple times a day, any day you pick a day out of the week, we're talking to each other at least 2 or 3 times, and
Right.
so the rule is we always have to have the video on,
Hmm.
and we're eating food.
Yeah.
It's just that's how we operate, but it allows us to see facial expressions and reactions and what's going on in the background, and why, if when somebody's muted, hey, are they there, or is it just loud and they're still in front of the screen, that sort of thing. It's just like a kind of a window into the person's environment, and it's a much more, you get a better feel for the emotional response of the things that you're
Right.
saying, and facial expressions and that sort of thing. It's very hard to take something the wrong way when you see somebody actually deliver it versus just over voice. So
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's really helpful and valuable, I think, to a lot of people out there, and some good ideas. Maintaining those traditions, doing things even though it feels a little corny at first, just
yep,
do it, because this is kind of our new normal right now. And
that's right.
but this actually
Yep.
could be a good impetus to start traditions, company wide some places. So it
Yeah,
might
yeah,
actually kind of bring out some cool things.
yep,
But that's a good segue into to my last question is, I'm in sales, you're in sales. A lot of people are in sales or managing businesses, so they're dependent on sales. What
sure,
what is your advice to those trying to, you know, sell in this environment, right? And
yeah.
like to sales reps, it's very unique, and people are paused on a lot of buying decisions. What is your, brief advice on how to navigate that now.
Yeah, I think it's easy to fall into panic when, your top of funnel dries up and, deals start kind of getting put on pause and that sort of thing. But like, I think it's important as a sales leader or a leader in general to be that calm, even keel through crisis. It's something that I've found. You can be nervous and uncertain about the future. Internally, but externally, you need to kind of be that guiding azimuth for folks.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way I kind of think about it is, I want to impact and affect the things that I can change that are in my control, and not worry about the things outside that I can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about the things I can control the way I engage potential clients. I can control things that are like relationship building and can deepen trust
Right.
for when we get out of this kind of storm. And so those are the types of activities. I almost take the sales hat off, right, completely, and go into things with zero expectations of selling something.
Mm-hmm.
How can I just help you today?
Right.
Instead of selling you my service, what knowledge do I possess that might help you out as a leader through this crisis? Because I guarantee that person has something that can help me. And then, just kind of, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but it's also a build, like a time you can build, right? And if you're hustling every day, and then something like this happens where it's just cold turkey stop. Now it's a good time to think, okay, well, where's the puck going, right? Like I've been playing catch up this whole time, and following, this lead and this opportunity. But what is the market going to be asking from me and my company in, 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 3 years from now? And really just doing some, just some deep thought, and using your time productively and wisely that way. I think, well, it'll allow you to kind of get through the hump, and the struggle, and then
Yeah.
on the other side, you'll be better and stronger for it.
Yeah, that's extremely valuable insight. I think, I've already seen that right now. Some buying decisions are on pause, but this is a
Sure.
time to deepen relationships and figure out how to help people. And you might be the first person they talk to when they're ready to re-engage, or if they do want to do business together. So
Yep.
it provides some opportunities. Obviously, it's a unique set of challenges. But anyway, Tim, thanks a lot. I had just those
Yeah, no problem.
three questions, and
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate your time. And
Absolutely.
good luck in the next few weeks and months.
Great. Stay safe, Christian. Thank you so much.
All right, you too. Stay healthy. See you later.
All right.